Good evening, my name is Anna Sobczak and will be moderating today's webinar. Whenever you have any questions, you can write them down in a chat or raise your hand and I will follow up on everybody and make sure that you are listened and that your question is answered by Monica. And now, Monica, I leave the voice to you.
Okay, thank you so much. So hello everyone, I am Monika Ohal. I'm a psychologist and TUS, social skills trainer. I work in nurseries and kindergartens and I have seen so many adaptations in my life. So I'm really pleased to meet today with you and share my experience. So grab some tea or water and let's start. In the beginning, I would like to show you the agenda of today's webinar, and we will start about talking about adaptation itself and about duration of this process. Next, I will tell you about behaviors that you should be prepared for, and I will give you some suggestions about preparing a child for adaptations, and it will be shown step by step. Later, we will go through the things that you should avoid that are not supportive for kids and are not supportive during the adaptation process. Later, I will describe ways of preparation yourself as a parent to a separation from your kids. Later, we will sum up and I will provide you with some additional tips. And in the end of our meeting, we will have some Q&A session. But before we start, I would like to warm up a bit. Could you please type in the chat, how old is your kid? I'm wondering, how old is your kid or maybe your kids? So feel free to write your message.
We have a first answer and it's 2 years old.
Oh, okay. Great. Thank you for sharing your the information.
1 year old.
Oh, so something related with nursery.
3 years old, 5.5, 1.5, 4 and 5. So clearly both preschool and nursery.
Yeah. So we also have candidates to nurseries and also to kindergartens. So awesome. Okay, so first of all, we need to know what adaptation actually means, because adaptation is always a big event and it's always a big challenge both for parents and kids. But we need to know that it's not only sending a kid to a nursery or a kindergarten, because we need to know that behind adaptation, we have a process that takes time. And this process aims to mitigate the stress associated with changing the environment, mitigate the stress related with the new people, new adults, new rules, new routines, a new schedule of the day. So adaptation is not just putting a kid to a facility, it's a process that requires time. And of course, purpose of the adaptation is to help a child to feel safe and comfortable in the new environment, feel safe and comfortable out of home, and feel safe and comfortable without parents. And it affects further emotional, social, intellectual development of a kid, because as I mentioned, it's a challenge, maybe not a challenge, but challenging event, not only for parent, but also for a kid. And it impacts the further levels of development and education. What more? it can be also exciting, but also stressful, and it's totally natural. And it doesn't mean that if you feel stressed or your kid is stressed about the adaptation, about joining a nursery or a kindergarten, it doesn't mean that something is wrong. It's totally normal that you might feel blended emotions. And what is also important, that the adaptation is a period that requires support from parents and teachers. So for us, it's a message as a parent, as parents and teachers, as also adults that take part in this process, that we need to be supportive, understanding, and calm about the adaptation. And talking about being prepared and talking about being understanding requires the knowledge about separation anxiety that may occur and may have different intensity level. And separation anxiety is a state when the child experiences strong anxiety and stress in situations when they are separated from parents. And again, it's natural reaction of the child when a child is getting separated from people who make them feel safe. And for a kid, it's a period of time to understand that parents always come back, that they are not rejected. And but again, it's a message for us as parents, that we need to demonstrate understanding, patience, and support to our kids, to support them in the best way in this in this process. And what is also important, and we can't forget, is that adaptation doesn't depend only on actions taken in preschool nursery. So adaptation at all starts at home, but later I will tell you more about that adaptation starts with parents, and adaptation starts at home, but later will be space to tell you more about that. What is also essential, the essential case is a cooperation between parents and teachers. I know that every parent knows their own kid in the best way, but teachers are people that work in kindergarten or nursery. They have met different kids. They have met different parents. They have seen many different adaptations, and it's worth it to trust them. And they don't have strong emotional connection with the child. So unfortunately, I have seen different parents who make mistakes in the adaptation process, and these mistakes block the whole process. And then it's sometimes, maybe not sometimes, but it's worthy to keep in mind that if a teacher recommends some solution, if a teacher gives you some suggestion on the adaptation process, especially if you encounter some problems, you should keep in mind that it might be worthy to try out their suggestions and they advice, because I know that you know your kids in the best way, but as I said, teachers are maybe more experienced in adaptations, and they don't have emotional connection, emotional bond with your kid, and they perceive the reality in another way, and it helps sometimes it helps to fasten the adaptation of the kid. And what else? Adaptation can take place irregularly. So you should expect that after some good days, some better days, you can notice the decrease in the mood or decrease in the activity and decrease, I don't know, with sleeping. So you may notice some changes for better and for worse. And changes for worse are not a sign that, I don't know, you are doing something wrong or the kid is harmed in the kindergarten. You can try to understand what your kid feels, what is she or he coming through right now, and try to support the kid, not to share your fear with your kid, but try to observe the kid. You can also discuss your observations with teacher, and yeah, it may support you in dealing with some drops in the mood, for example. I mean, not only drops in the mood, but some decreasing things in general behavior and functioning of your child. And now I have a second question to you. I'm wondering, how do you think, how long does the adaptation last? How do you think, how long should it last? Do you have any imagination of that? How many days? How many weeks, for example? How do you think? How should it look like?
2 to 3 weeks, maybe. This is the first answer.
Mm-hmm. Okay, awesome.
1
Thank
week.
you for sure. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Another person wrote that it should be 4 weeks. Could be 4
Mm-hmm.
weeks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Anyone else?
Right now, these are the only answers, so they vary from 1 week to 4 weeks.
Okay, okay, awesome. Thank you for your responses. So I will give you the answer. The process of adaptation may last from few days to few months, and we don't have one universal answer on that question because it's dependent on the temperament of the child, of previous experiences of the kid. It's dependent only also on support received from adults, and it also depends on parents' attitude. And another factor is the child's sensitivity to change. What's more, the ability to cope with difficult emotions. We also have willingness and reaction of caregivers to separation from the child, the dynamic of the group that the child joins, and amount of kids in group, and the child's health. And I can tell you from my experience that I have met kids that needed 1 week, and after 1 week, yeah, we can say that they were adapted to the kindergarten. I also have in my mind kids that needed 1 month. I also remember a girl who needed 4 months to adapt to the kindergarten or to the nursery. So it's really difficult to give one answer, one common answer. And yeah, it's good to remember that because I know that you have some imagination, some expectation in terms of the duration of the adaptation, but it's important. Okay, you have some, I don't know, assumptions that okay, I have 4 weeks for that. Okay, you can expect 4 weeks for a kid to adapt to the kindergarten or nursery, but you should remember that that it may vary. So don't feel pressure after the 4 weeks, for example. Don't feel that something is going wrong with your kid, because as you see, we have so many factors, and every kid has own history, experiences, and yeah, and things that I wrote in here. So if you have in your mind some period of time, okay, it's your expectation, but you also need to remember that sometimes your kid might need more time. Later, I will tell more about good rules of adaptation, but right now I can tell you, when we are talking about that, that the most important rule in the adaptation, maybe I have two really important rules that maybe I will share here right now, but I will repeat it later. That one thing is the adaptation to the kindergarten should be regular. So it's not good to take breaks. For example, bringing a kid for 2 days, taking away to home for 5 days, later coming back for 1 day, and later giving a day off of the kindergarten, and later coming again for 2 days. It's better for a kid to be at the kindergarten or in the nursery regularly, even though it will be shortened time. I don't know, 4 hours instead of 7 hours. It's better to have a consistent schedule, consistent routine, consistent structure, because every break, every, I don't know, vacation, every sickness, okay, but we can't pretend if the kid will be sick or not. But it's good to plan the adaptation with the knowledge that it should be regular, and it should be, the kid should visit the new facility every day, even though for a shortened time, okay, but it should be day after a day, because I see from inside how kids react, how are they dysregulated when they are taken away from the kindergarten. And I can say that the younger is the kid, the more difficult is for them, for him or for she, to deal with breaks. So kid doesn't feel safe, and it's really difficult to get to used to routines and schedule. Yeah, so it was the first rule, and the second rule is not starting from a long period of time. So it's not a good idea to start, I don't know, with 3 hours. For example, on Monday you will leave a kid for 3 hours, and the second day you will leave a kid again for 3 hours, but the third day you will leave the kid for 7 hours. It should be slowly, it should be an individual pace for a kid. So it's good to plan it and in advance. And for example, start with, of course, it still depends on the child, and on, of course, it depends on the age, but you can start with 1 hour a day. If you see that this is the first experience of being at kindergarten or at the nursery, you can see how the kid deals with the separation and how you deal with that. Later, you can repeat, for example, again, 1 hour, or you can slowly add additional time. So you can have 1 hour and 30 minutes. And if you see that the situation is stable, okay, and you can add, I don't know, more 1 hour more, for example. And then if you see that the kid reacts well, on that change, you can consider extending the time, because really common mistake aspect of taking breaks in the adaptation process is leaving a kid for too long, too early. So too early in the adaptation process, and too long, I mean, yeah, for so many hours, because you can be happy, okay, he spent there 3 hours or 2 hours or 3 hours and he was good, so now I will leave him for 7 hours or 8 hours. So no, you should do it gradually, slowly. You should be aware of your kids' feelings. You should ask for feedback, teachers, and then if you see that the change, the whole process and the change, I mean, in the life of your kid is going well, then you can slowly add more hours. And yeah, it helps kids to feel safe and to go more smoothly through the adaptation. And what is also important, important are also behaviors that may appear. So you may observe crying, you can observe fear and anxiety of your kid. You can also see decrease in energy at the kindergarten, excessive activity at home. You can notice sleep disturbances, lack of appetite, refusal to eat at daycare and kindergarten. Moreover, we might have present outbursts of anger and other emotional behaviors at home. Yeah, because when a kid attends the nursery on kindergarten, he's going through some maybe tension, difficult emotions, but there is no space to express the tension. And when the kid comes back home, when the kid feels safe, when the kid is with people that he knows well, he might express feelings that he or she was keeping during being in the nursery on the kindergarten. So it might happen. Also, you should be prepared for isolation from the group in kindergarten, but also wanting to talk with others outside of kindergarten. Yeah, I like to compare the adaptation to a kindergarten. I like to compare this process to show adults and show them how they imagine the emotions of a kid. I like to compare it to changing a job. So you can try imagine a situation that you have changed a job and you are entering a new open space, and you see so many new people. You don't know their faces. You don't know what are they expect from you. Maybe of course everybody has own attitude and expectations, but it's good to think about situations like that. If you are an adult and if you had situation related with changing a job, how you felt in this situation, and then you can think that you are an adult and you can deal with these emotions, and you have more possibilities to face situation like that. But our kids are small. They are just learning the word. They are learning how to express emotions, and they are separated from you, and you give them safety. So it may help you, to understand the kid's perspective and be more understanding and supportive for your kids. We can also see somatic symptoms like headaches, vomiting, stomach pain, and bedwetting. What is really important? I know that it's really tough to observe behaviors like that, but it's important to to remember, but also observe if it's temporary. So it should finish, it should be decreasing. So if you see that, I don't know, headaches are not finishing, that the kid is still feeling headaches, having headaches, or this is escalating, or if you see, I don't know, bedwetting, for example, and it's getting worse. This is a sign for us that maybe a kid needs additional support. So behaviors like that, you should be prepared for behaviors like that, because they may appear, and this is natural, because it's related with the development of a kid, and of course is dependent on the is dependent on factors like that. But it should finish. So you need to observe if it's increasing or decreasing, or if a child has headaches and maybe expect of headaches, the kid will be vomiting, for example. So it's really important to observe a kid, not to give up after the one day of, you know, some negative behavior, some negative symptom. Yeah, because you should expect some negative behaviors like here. But it's important, we can neglect that, of course, but we need to observe what is a dynamic of that. If maybe it lasts 2 or 3 days, or maybe it keeps going for, I don't know, 1 week, 2 weeks, or if this escalating. So then this is a sign for a parent to think about that, to support a kid to support more the kid, or to discuss this topic with teachers, or maybe with a psychologist. So so this is knowledge that will help you to face negative emotions, and the knowledge will help you to be more prepared, and not to be surprised, and not to be scared, just like that. And now, but let me drink water. Okay. Now I would like to share with you some tips, some preparations advice about about preparing a kid to joining a new facility. And as I mentioned in the beginning, the adaptation begins at home. It begins with parents. So the first basic thing is talking to the child about kindergarten and describing it in a positive way in order to build positive connotations. So you can describe the new kindergarten, the nursery, as a new adventure. You can use some benefits of going to the kindergarten or nursery. You can share your own experiences from your kindergarten. You can tell about your colleagues. You can describe new toys. The main goal is to create some positive connotation associations with the kindergarten, and giving some positive emotions to a kid. The second thing that you can do, you can ask the kindergarten or the nursery About open days. Some facilities organize open days when you can go inside with your kid, of course, to the nursery or the kindergarten. You can get to know the teachers. The kid can see the kid can see classrooms, and you can play with a kid, for example, in the classroom. So of course, I don't mean that every kindergarten does it, of course, but it's a good idea to remember about that possibility. It's a good idea to remember about that, because it can mitigate the fear and the stress related with entering the nursery and kindergarten. And as a result, at the first day of the adaptation, it may be more easy for a kid to deal with the situation. Routine, schedule, rituals, they play a huge role in every kindergarten and in every nursery. So it's good to get used to a kid, to a routine, like regular sleep hours or meals hours, or limited time for playing, or limited time or learning. So it's good to show a kid that he or she can function between some structure, between some schedule, between some activities, because in every facility, they are based, because there is no other option. They have to base on some routines, schedules, so it will be easier for your child to adapt to a new schedule of a day. And the perfect way is if you familiarize the schedule with the kindergarten schedule. And it's important with the nursery, and it's really important with the sleeping times and nap times, because it's really difficult for a kid to function in a nursery if he or she has different sleeping times, and if everybody should have a nap, I don't know, at 12 or 11, and a kid woke up, I don't know, 2 hours later than the rest of the group, and everybody is falling asleep. I mean, every kid, but the one kid doesn't need doesn't feel the need of sleep, and later it's really difficult to put to sleep that one kid. Later everybody falls asleep. The kid is angry and tired because he can sleep with others. So from my experience, I can advise you, if you are about joining, if your kid is about joining a nursery, it's a good idea to slowly adapt your daily routine, especially sleeping and napping. Sleeping and napping case, to making it along with the nursery agenda, nursery schedule, because in a situation of young kids, like kids from nurseries, it's really important, and it can support them later in really big way. What else? Expect of daily routine. You can think about rituals like regular hours for separation and return. So you can try to leave your child with, I don't know, a grandmother or with some relative, and and you can see how does he behave. or she. And what is more, it's really a good idea to establish some ritual regarding the saying goodbyes. You can use it later at the kindergarten, like hug, kiss, goodbye, go. 1, 2, 3, go. It's a ritual that help you to shorten the time of saying goodbye. Yeah, because every day I see really difficult goodbyes in the kindergarten or nursery. So you can try to establish your own ritual that will shorten the separation, I mean the moment of opening the door to the classroom and letting the kids in. And you can try to practice it earlier at home, right, when you are going to work, or if you are going out, and showing a kid that this is your ritual and you say goodbye in that way. And after hug, kiss, goodbye, or 1, 2, 3, go, or something like that, you are go out, but later in the kindergarten or in the nursery, the kid will enter the classroom. So it will be easier because it will be familiar for a kid to experience ritual like that. And this is a thing that you can start doing, before starting the adaptation. And preparations can also include supporting your kid with social skills and independence. Of course, it's dependent on the child's age, because every child's age, every range of age has different activities related with self-service. So you can try to teach your kids, but of course it has to be related with the age, like dressing themselves, or using the toilet, or eating meals independently, or drink from a cup. And these are skills that will be useful in the kindergarten or in the nursery. And a good idea is to organize play dates with peers, or taking the child to the playground. I also know that parents meet parents of other kids from the same group. So they are arranging a common play dates with their kids, and they are going out, and later the kids get to know the second kid from the same group, and he is bonding with them out of the kindergarten or the nursery. And being in the kindergarten or in the nursery, it's more it's better for them, because they have already some friends, they know faces of colleagues. So I know that it happens in kindergartens and in nurseries as well, that parents like to contact to reach out to themselves, and they are going out together with kids, and the kids are making relationship with each other out of the kindergarten, and later it's better for them to function in the facility because they are playing with kids that they already know. So this is also a good idea that you can try. Also showing your kids, but of course it's still related to the age, but dealing with emotions, it's also an important skill, like learning how to recognize and express kids' feelings, because it's really common that kids are kicking themselves, biting, pushing, hurting, harming, and they are different. They are doing different things in terms of expressing their emotions and feelings. So, of course, it depends on your possibilities, and it depends on the kid's age, but it's also an important skill dealing with emotions, expressing them in a positive way, because we want to avoid situations when your kid bites someone or pushes someone. Yeah, and I think that the last but not least thing is providing the child with emotional support, right? So you should be open to discuss how the kids day went. It's okay to be ready to talk to teachers. Yeah, this is okay to adapt and modify also your behavior to the child's needs. And again, it's worthy to trust teachers. It's worthy to ask them for some suggestions, or psychologists. If there is a psychologist, it's also the right person to talk to. Because remember that the adaptation, not only your kid is going through the adaptation, but also you as a parent, you are also going through adaptation of your kids to a new facility. Okay, and this is also important. What you should avoid, because unfortunately you can worsen the situation and you can worsen the adaptation. Of course, you are not aware of that. Your parents are not aware of that, but you need to remember that the way you talk about kindergarten must support a positive attitude and mitigate any fears. And you need to watch out what are you talking about with your partner. What are you talking through the what about are you talking through the, I don't know, mobile phone? And because kids are really smart and they are observing us as adults, and yeah, they are they can it can worsen the adaptation and kids attitude toward the kindergarten. Yeah, and for example, I have some examples of do's and don'ts. So we don't want a kid to feel unwanted or rejected. So it's not a good idea to say, you have to go to the kindergarten because mommy or a daddy has to work and I have no one to leave you with. Instead, you can say, in kindergarten, you will be able to play with other children and you will be able to learn new games, and you will meet new adults. You will have more play toys. So we would like to switch sentences that may give a kid the feeling of being rejected into using only positive words. Yeah, this is also not a good idea. It's also not a good idea scaring your child with kindergarten. So if you don't listen to your aunt at the kindergarten, they will get angry, they will kick you off, or I don't know, you will go to the prison, or they will call a police. No, it's not a good idea to scare a child. You should use words like, there are nice aunts at the kindergarten, they are kind, they will help you. You can tell them if something bad happens. You can tell them if you need something, if you feel bad or something like that. Because yeah, we don't want kids to be scared of the ounce and ounce and of the kindergarten or the nursery. Yeah. We should avoid also using words like, if you are good, we'll go to the preschool. Or if you don't clean up toys, you won't go to the preschool. Or you are behaving so badly that I can't wait until you are in the preschool. We don't want a kid to perceive kindergarten or the nursery as a reward or a punishment. So we shouldn't use it as a reward of punishment. And of course, it's not a good idea to compare your child to others. Like, look, Anya is already going to preschool and she is so brave. And you are so old, you are a big boy, you are a big girl, and you shouldn't be crying and you shouldn't be scared. No, it's not a good idea. You can say, what Anya did at the preschool, or you can say, I believe in you. I know you might be, I don't know, sad, scared, but I believe in you that you will do well in the kindergarten. Yeah, this is similar to the previous one. So you should also avoid negative comments about kindergarten in the presence of the child. So I don't know if kindergarten will take good care of you. I don't know if the teachers are a good people. And because I guess that if you choose nursery, I guess that you have checked the opinions, and I guess that you are not choosing a facility that has bad opinions. So you should, instead of that, say, kindergarten has nice aunts, nice teachers. They will take care for you. They will be nice. They can support you. They're there for you. They can help you to solve some problems. If somebody hurts you, you can tell them. If something bad is going on, you can call them, and they will try to help you in situations like that. So we want to strengthen the feeling of safety, and feeling of safety will help us to decrease the level of fear or the anxiety. Yeah, this is also important. We shouldn't simplify the role of kindergarten only to the role of playing. So kindergarten will only be about playing. There is a place created for kids to play. Yeah, because the kid will be surprised. And of course, every facility has own schedule, has own extra classes. I mean, daily classes and extra classes. So the kid might be surprised and not happy with that. So, okay, you can say kindergarten will be about playing. Yeah, there will be new toys, but you will also learn new things. You will also discover new activities. You will meet new colleagues. Yeah, so see, you have so many different benefits from that, and there is a really amazing place for you, and you will start a new journey. And I'm so happy. And saying things like that, we want to share our positive attitude with our child. Yeah. Next, I would like to go through preparing. I would like to go through the case of preparing yourself. Yourself, I mean, a parent, for separation from child going to kindergarten. Because I discussed the case of preparing a child, but as we know, the adaptation begins at home. And as we know, it's also a big challenge for parents, not only for a kid. So what you can do to prepare yourself for that event. First thing is accepting your emotions and showing understanding for the child's emotion. So open communication will help the child to understand that their emotions are just as normal as their parents. Yeah, but still we don't want to we don't want to share with kids negative emotions, and we don't want to treat your kid as your friend. Yeah, so if you need to discuss your concerns, yeah, it's good to choose your partner or your friend and avoid talking about that in the presence of the kid. Yeah, trusting that the child is not being harmed and is well cared for behind the doors. Again, collaborating with the teachers. And again, I assume that you are not choosing a facility with bad opinions. And you also have some impression on people that you meet there. The belief that your child is not being harmed, that if you close the door, nothing wrong is going on there. I can tell you from inside because yeah, I'm present at different adaptations and in different kindergartens and nurseries. That of course it depends, but usually it looks like that the kid cries only in the moment of detaching from the parent. The door are closing, and later maybe 2 minutes, 5 minutes after that, the kid forgets about everything and he's better. So the crying is totally natural, and it will happen because the kid doesn't know ways to express emotion in another way. The kid will not stand in front of you, and the kid will not be describing, I am a bit sad because I prefer spending a whole day on cartoons, and I'm sad, I don't know, that you have to work and I'm overwhelmed by the noise. No, the kids don't have abilities like that, so they will cry, and I know that the heart is broken, and I know that you are wondering if you are a bad parent or not, and if you should be doing like that, or if you are harming your kid. But in this moment, the crucial thing is cooperation with teachers. And you can ask the teachers how my child is doing when I leave. What is going on when I leave? How long my kid cries? How does the kid do when I leave the kindergarten? Is he happy? Is or she happy? Is my kid playing with others? Does she or he want to eat? So at this point, we are returning to the case of cooperating with teachers and discussing your concerns with them, your observations, their observations. You can ask them to write you a message. Okay. I don't know if everybody agrees on that, but I have met situations like parents asks, especially during adaptation, teachers to write a message after, I don't know, half an hour or after 1 hour to parent how what is going on. So if it's possible, I don't mean that everybody will agree on that, but if it's possible, it's also a good idea to ask a teacher, could you write me a message in 1 hour, because I'm worried and I'm wondering if is he better, or maybe should I come back from work, or maybe I intended to leave the kid for 5 hours, but maybe I will be earlier. So here we are going back to the case of cooperation with teachers. Um, We also can prepare by actively participating in preparations for adaptations at home. So the awareness of that you tried to share positive emotions with your kids. You tried to create some rituals. You tried to get to know the kindergartens or nurseries schedule. The knowledge of things that you have done will also help you and will reduce anxiety, because you will know that you are prepared for that event. Yeah, also it's a good idea to talk to parents who have experienced that or who are going through adaptation like you right now. Yeah, it will reduce the feeling of being misunderstood, of being alone. You will see that it's totally natural that you are feeling. Maybe they will share with you their experience, their solutions. So it's also a good idea to talk to friends, to talk to parents of kids from the same group, to talk on some groups on the internet, and to see that you are not alone, and to see that you are supported, because supporting yourself, you are supporting your kids. Because if you want to help your kids, and if you want to yeah, if you want to help your kids, first you need to be able to do that, and first you need to take care of your own emotions. Yeah, planning the first day of kindergarten or nursery. Yeah, so preparing yourself and the child for this day will reduce chaos and possible tension. So you can prepare a schedule for that day. It will be a special day, and this is our schedule. We are waking up at 7 a.m. You will, we will put these clothes on. We are going by my car. I don't know, at 9, I'm starting my job. So preparing a schedule for that day will minimize the tension, the stress, and will give you some peace that you are prepared for that. You know that you have enough time, and yeah. Yeah. It's also good to talk after returning home. So it's good to talk to the child and ask about his or her feelings. Yeah, this also allows the parent to calm their fears and feel more confident. Yeah, getting to know regulations, rules, terms and conditions, schedules, etc., will help you to be more prepared and more calm, and you will be not surprised. And if you do it in advance, you will be able to ask questions to the staff in case of any concerns. So I would like to give you some additional tips. They have in common things that I have provided previously, but some ideas. A good idea is to visit the facility area together with the parent and with the child. You can ask about that option in the facility that you are going to sign your child. Preparation for separation. So you can try to leave your kid with grandparents and try to see their reaction. You can try to gradually extend the time. Yeah, sharing your positive attitude and positive emotions with your kid, remembering about things to avoid. Paying attention to the child's diet at home. yeah, it's good to introduce foods that appear in kindergarten so the child won't be hungry if they refuse to eat that. And I can give you an example. I know a kid that eats only pancakes with Nutella, and he is 6, and he doesn't accept any other meals. So yeah, it's unhealthy a bit, and it's really difficult for him not to be hungry. Of course, sometimes the mom gives the food to the kindergarten, but I know that the majority of the kindergartens doesn't allow to that. So there is a problem. There is a huge problem in a situation like that. Yeah, providing teachers with important information about your child. How do you calm your child? What does your child likes? How do you put to sleep your child? If he or she has some allergies. Yeah, how she or he reacts on I don't know, refusal, etc., etc. So providing teachers with comprehensive information about your child will help them and will easier their work. Yeah, getting to know the group schedule, yeah, introducing the routine, extending the child's stay during the adaptation period. Yeah, we shouldn't send the child for many hours immediately, or we shouldn't start with 1 hour, 2 hours, and later leave a child for 8 hours, for example, or 9. We should respect our kids. We should respect the process, and yeah, we should be patient. Yeah, it's good to keep in mind that child should be dressed comfortably, so yeah, he or she feels good. Yeah, celebrating together, and yeah, and sharing positive emotions. You can do it in different ways. Yeah, not being sad together with the child in the dressing room. Unfortunately, and of course, I know, I feel you, but unfortunately, I have seen so many situations when parents were more stressed than kids. Parents were more sad than kids, and of course, it doesn't help. Yeah, not prolonging the goodbye in the dressing room. So it should be short. Smile, kiss, bye-bye. Kiss, hug, bye-bye. 1, 2, 3, go, for example. And reassuring the child that they are loved, that they are safe, that you will be back, that he will be taken care in the kindergarten. Yeah. You need to remember that kids don't know hours. So if you say, I will be back in 3 hours, they cannot have an idea about that. So it's better to switch into, I will be after lunch, I will be after nap time, I will be after afternoon snack. So it's easier for kids to understand. Yeah, we shouldn't promise a reward for going to a daycare. Yeah, not feeding the child before breakfast if you intend to carry the kid to the kindergarten for a breakfast, especially sweets. Yeah, I have seen also feeding kids with sweets on the way to the kindergarten. It's bad idea, really. Allowing the child to take their favorite cuddle toy, stuffed animal. You also need to ask kindergarten about their policy on toys. because maybe it's allowed on particular days of the week, or maybe it's allowed only during the adaptation. So it's a good idea, but you need to know rules in a particular facility. Yeah, you can help the child to find their way in the dressing room, showing where are his or her clothes, where you leave them, adhering to the arrival time for daycare, kindergarten. For example, managing to come before the breakfast so the kid can eat together with other children. Not taking the child home when they cry at separation. So if you give in once, the child will use tears to try to convince the parent to do the same next time. Considering having someone else to bring the child if separation is very painful for the child. Yeah, sometimes it helps. If, for example, a mommy is really upset with the separation, if the mommy has problems with separating with a kid, sometimes it helps if the mommy is swapping with daddy. So if you will meet some difficult goodbyes, you can change your role with your, I don't know, with your partner, with your mother, with person that you that your kid knows. Every greeting should be happy and with a smile. So you shouldn't be starting with what happened, what is going on, how long you were crying. You should say, good day, darling. I came as we agreed. Good to see you. Controlling what is said in the child's presence about daycare, kindergarten stuff. Yeah, again. Not forcing the child to talk about kindergarten immediately after leaving the facility. This can cause additional stress. Yeah, because we don't want kids to feel tension. Yeah, we don't want kids to feel that this is a big deal. And it's better to wait until they feel ready. Yeah, so you can assure them, I'm open. You can come to me and talk if you want, but don't force them to do that because it will have opposite result. Yeah, so we came to the end, and now it's time for questions for you. And we have right now are having some Q&A session. So I'm curious if you have any questions. What do you think about informations that I provided? And feel free to write your questions, concerns. Yeah, I'm here at your disposal and I will be happy to answer that. And meanwhile, I will drink water.
Okay, so we have a first question from Michał. Do you know, Monica, how does adaptation process look like in KIDS&Co?
Yes, as I know, it's suggested to start with small amount of time. As I know, I'm not sure, so it's a good idea to ask them directly, but I'm not sure if they are going to allow the parents to get in to the classroom for a really short time. Sometimes it happens when a parent stays at the closed doors together with a kid. But I know that they respect the kids' feelings. I know that they write messages to parents. they call them in something is not going well. I know that they recommend starting, gradually, and they are organizing open days. Yeah, so this is a type of facility when you can join open days, for example, and meet teachers, enter the classrooms, and play with your kid inside. So as I know, there are so many opportunities that can be supportive for parents and kids as well.
Before we go to the next question, do you, Michał, have anything specific in mind when it comes to KIDS&Co that Monica can answer? I think that you answered well enough, Monica, for Michał, because he has
Thank
no more
you.
questions. And the other question is from another participant. That was very useful, thanks. What do you think? It is very stressful to baby 1 year, 2 months, I guess, to go to nursery. Is it too early?
Is it too early? Yeah, I know that there are nurseries that take care of kids who are 1 year or younger, and I know kids that they are around 1 year and they are dealing well with the separation. So to be honest, if you have possibility to stay at home and stay longer with a kid, and if you don't have to come back to the work immediately, it may be better to stay with a kid at home, because from the developmental point of view, around the third year of the year, the social interactions are getting more important for a kid. So I don't mean that it will harm your kid to sign your kid to the to the nursery, but if you have choice from the developmental point of view, your kid might have more benefits from staying longer with you at home, because the first years of the life of a kid are really significant from the perspective of making relations, of feeling safety, etc. So I don't want you to feel guilty if you need to come back to work, because I know nurseries and I know kids and parents and kids that are really well in the nursery. But if you don't need to come back, yeah, you can stay longer with your kid, looking at that from the developmental way. So I hope that I answered your question.
Okay. I think you answered the question well also. And another participant is asking if you can get a certificate after this webinar. If you would like to, then yes, of course. I would like, if you would like a certificate, I would like you to write it in this chat, so I can find your email in the registration page and I will send it to you. Do you have any more questions for Monica regarding the adaptation? Okay, we have another question from Catherine. Do you have any recommendations for a child who does not speak Polish or English? My son is 5.5 years old. Before that, he has been attending a kindergarten at home for 3 years.
But that's it's a son, right? A son?
It's a son,
or a
yeah,
daughter?
it's a boy.
It's a son. Yeah, it's a boy. Okay, he doesn't speak Polish, neither English, but does he speak any other language? Or he doesn't speak at all?
Yes, he speaks Russian.
Okay, we should look into the environment in the classroom, in the group, because we need to wonder if the kid has contact with enough contact with Polish or with English. So we need to know if he has if he is exposed to another languages rather than Polish or English. So this is the one thing. So we need to look at the environment of the kid, because later you can look at the schedule of the day in the kindergarten. Maybe there will be additional classes, English classes, Polish classes, and maybe your son will be able to attend that in the kindergarten. You can think about finding extra classes, of course, classes that fit the developmental stage of your son, and you can you can go with him for some extra classes for kids from Polish or English out of the kindergarten. We need to look also at the language at home. If you and other members of your family use Polish or English, if you have some books in Polish or English at home, because kids are learning through the playing, through the books that are good at their age. So so we need to look at many different factors, but basically we need to analyze the touching points of your son with English or Polish. If is it enough, or maybe it's not enough for him, and maybe he needs more stimulation in terms of languages.
Do you have any more questions, Catherine? And as we are waiting for Catherine to respond, Natalia asked to also to have a certificate. Okay, yes, you wrote your surname. And Ruana asked if you can have the access to the record video. If you would like to have the video, I can send it to you. This is no problem. I will check your email address in the registration site and I will send it to you. And Catherine is thanking you, Monica. So I guess your answer was fulfilling.
Welcome. Thank you for your question.
So if any of you want to have a recording of this webinar, you can write it down and I will send it to you afterwards. The same with the certificate. We'll send it to you by the end of the week. And do you have any more questions for Monica? Hi, Natalia. What do you mean by previous webinar? Do you mean the Polish version of Adaptation? Okay. Okay, we can send the Polish version to you, of course. Apart from Okay, another person who wants the link to the recording, of course. This is no problem. Do any of you have some question about the adaptation?
The last chance.
Yes, the last chance. So far, our attendees are thanking you for the
Oh.
webinar, but we have 1 more minute to wait for your questions. Okay, so I guess Monica told you everything you possibly need to know right now about the adaptation, because there are no more questions. If that is it, I would like to thank you very much for today, and maybe see you the other time.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for your questions, and good luck with your adaptations processes.
Okay, we have one person writing, so maybe this is the last chance for a question.
Okay.
No, these are thanks, another thanks for the webinar. So I guess this is it. Thank you very much and have a good night.
Thank you.